What is up, Pod Pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are checking out Podcasting Business School. This is the show where I teach podcasters how to love their show like a hobby and build it like a business. Welcome to Workshop Week. This is something I haven't done in 180 episodes, to be exact. Back, I think it was episode 96 through 100, we did a little Workshop Week, and we're doing another one this week. So what's going to happen is you're going to get some micro content Monday through Friday. It's all about building your podcasting business. It's about building that business structure, that through line that is going to help you turn downloads into dollars. All right. So this is a podcasting business workshop week special. With this episode, the key question is, do you have a podcasting hobby or do you have a podcasting business? All right. So over the next 5 days, I'm going to be dropping shorter content episodes to school you up on podcasting business. And this topic is really important because I feel like the main problem that we need to address is that many podcasters have business level expectations and goals for their show, but they are actually putting in hobby level effort. So they're like, I should be making X amount of dollars. I should be doing X amount of downloads. But then what they actually are doing, like their actions are speaking hobby to me. You know, they're telling me that this is a hobby. You know, their efforts are always after all the other things. Oh, I'm going to squeeze in my podcasting when I get a chance. They're inconsistent. It's just kind of like sometimes we get this entitled attitude of we're putting in so much effort, but it's random, it's not organized, and it is not business level. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a mindset and action step checklist to work through to make sure that we are starting to at least convert our actions over to business level instead of being at hobby level. Because if you truly want to do this, you can. All right. And I got to speak recently at PodFest. It was super cool. And I broke down my own business journey. And I'm going to do that really quickly here today as well. So this should paint the picture, so I've got basically 3 phases of my podcasting business journey. I broke it up into years 0 through 3, years 4 and 5, and then years 6 and 7. So years 0 through 3 for me, from launch to the end of year 3, I made $37. I figured out how to make $37 from my podcast. And there was a lot of epic fails, a lot of experimentation, a whole lot of figuring it out. And that was how long it really took me to figure out that I was putting in hobby level effort. I owned a gym. I had that full-time career, and I was kind of squeezing this in on the back edge of everything else: gym, family, and then podcasting. So years 0 to 3, I produced $37 of income, but once I made income online, I did a little online challenge. Somebody bought a thing for $37. They're from Omaha, Nebraska. It was amazing. And that really opened up the possibility for me, like, wow, I can actually do this. I just did that. Now, how do we do more of that? How do we duplicate that? How do we get more efficient and effective with our marketing so that I can scale this a little bit? So that motivated me, just making $37. So years 4 to 5, I did more unpacking of how I actually started to make money. It wasn't so much about figuring it out anymore. And I really got serious about my schedule, about my marketing, about my mindset around really having a business and building this with a business mentality. So in years 4 and 5, I kept ramping up the income. Over 2 years, I was able to replace my income as a gym owner, and I sold my gym, went full time. So after year 5, I went full time in podcasting and haven't looked back since. So that was kind of the wealth and business building phase. So I was able to replace my income, go full time. Once I was able to go full time and put all of my business mindset and mental faculties into this, things really exploded. Year 6 and year 7, it was a 6-figure paycheck. Those were 6-figure paycheck years for me. So not only did my company make 6 figures, I was able to pay myself 6 figures, which is very important, knowing the difference of those things. Some people, like, I've got $1 million business, and they pay themselves $20,000 a year because they're spending most of that money that's coming in. So that was like the wealth and business acceleration. Once I was able to replace my income and go full time, I really accelerated things because I already knew what was working. In phase two, years 4 and 5, I just enhanced what was working and built it up with the time that I could allot to it with my other business, then replace the income. Phase three, we hit the gas pedal down and really started accelerating the progress. So that was my journey from hobby mindset into business mindset. Let's talk about, the goal, one of the goals of this workshop week. That is, this has been a 7-year journey for me. I want to teach you some things over the next 5 days with these 5 simple episodes that are going to help you hit the fast forward button so that you can hit your desired business goals, hopefully a lot faster than me. But even if it takes 7 years, is it worth it? If you were able to, work 20 to 25 hours a week and produce a 6-figure paycheck for yourself each year, for me, the answer is yes. I'll do that over 7 years, no problem. It's just called life and education, I guess. So that's one of the goals of this workshop week. We really want to help you move along this, hopefully faster than I did, but at least move along this path at whatever pace it takes to get to your business goals. Now let's talk about kind of a business mindset checklist. All right. The first thing that I really need you to start squaring away is set hours to work on your podcasting business. All right. So this isn't like, well, I'm just going to kind of work on it whenever, even if it's just 1 hour a week, but I want a set day and a set time, 1 hour per week. And then you expand from there. All right. So what are your business hours that you are working and focusing on your podcasting business, your content, your marketing, all of that? All right. So even if it's just 1 hour, that's the first box I need you to check is, when am I focusing? What is the exact day? What is the exact time frame? All right. So just get started with that. The next checkbox that we want to check off is weekly content. You are in hobby mode if you aren't producing a weekly episode, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. I know some of you, that's going to rub you the wrong way. You're doing the best that you can, and that's cool. All right. Keep doing the best that you can. Some content and inconsistent content is better than not having a show. But when you are like, the goal of this episode is to get you from hobby to business. If you want to go from hobby to business, I need weekly content. You got to find a way. I'm going to be putting some more content out. So stay tuned on creative ways to make sure that you can hit weekly content, even for somebody that has very little time. So stay tuned for that. So weekly content. Another checkbox I need you to check is focusing on the why behind your content. So when you are producing an episode, if you're in hobby mode, it's just like, I got to put out something every week. Adam says something every week. I just got to put something out. And you're just kind of, you'll interview whoever, you'll talk about whatever. You're kind of scrambling. You're always in scramble mode. When you're in business mode, you understand the why behind each piece of content. This episode right now, I know why it's serving you and how it's serving you. And I know what it's doing for my business as well. All right. What it's setting up, the tone that I'm setting, the expert positioning that I'm delivering on. All right. So you know the why behind every piece of content that you're putting out there. You're not just producing content to produce content. There is a reason. All right. There's a reason that you're going to impact your audience. And there's a reason you're doing this to help build your business. All right. Next check box is you are going to be always striving to improve your content. So you're interacting with your audience and going, okay, what do they need more of? What do they need less of? How can I be more efficient, more impactful with my content? Like, a part of business ownership and entrepreneurship and being serious about it and not in hobby mode is you look for areas to streamline, areas to improve, areas to get more impact, more efficiency. All right. You have set time to review that. Maybe it's once a month, maybe it's once a quarter, but you're in the trenches actively looking to improve your content. And again, looking for that why behind the content. The next checkbox is you've got to set marketing schedule. I've talked about this a lot. I love a 72-hour window post episode release. 5 assets are going out. They're getting deployed, even if it's just 1 or 2 or 3, but it's set. You're like, okay, episode goes out on this day. Here is the plan. I do an Instagram live on that day, and then I put out a video, and then I put out a carousel or whatever. Here are the social media platforms. You've got a system. You're not just floating around. All right. You are in business mindset mode. You've got a marketing system and a marketing schedule to get your content out there correctly. All right. You're giving your content the marketing effort that it deserves. You're not just producing it and then just like giving up and putting up one post on Facebook. If you want to switch to a business mindset and have a podcasting business, that's what it's going to take. Next checkbox, you got to be willing to invest. All right. Like if you have a business, there's usually startup costs. So these people that are like, I can't afford Libsyn, it's $20 a month. I'm not making any money from my podcast yet, so I have nothing to invest. Guess what? It's called startup cost. $20 a month, that's worth it for something like Libsyn as a host over Anchor. That's free. All right, you get what you pay for, and $20 a month will get you a whole lot more than something free like Anchor. All right. So willing to invest in coaching, willing to invest in a little bit of tech, willing to invest in continuing education, willing to invest in eventually team building and delegation opportunities. Like it was 6 years before I hired a VA. I was a team of one for the first 6 years. And then at the end of year 6 and the whole year 7, I had Ashley, the VA. Shout out to Ashley, the VA. It's been a huge difference. That was my first hire for this podcasting business school brand. But I'm able to delegate a ton. So that was a big move for me. That was a business move for me. And now I've got a teammate and I can delegate things to her and she does a great job. So things like that, like right now, if you're not making any money and you're kind of bootstrapping this, are you going to be able to afford a VA? Probably not. But as you start to make money and as you start to replace your current income and look at going full-time, that's a checkbox that we're going to check down the road. Right? But just the mindset of being willing to invest. And it's not like go out and spend a bunch of money on Facebook ads or something like that. No, that's dumb. I would not suggest that. But coaching, finding somebody that's where you want to be and looking at, do they offer coaching? Do they offer consulting? Can I hire them to help me hit the fast forward button? Spoiler alert. We're going to talk about that in a second. You guys probably felt that coming anyway. That's all right. So yeah, I'd love to be that person for you. Obviously, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's how I pay the bills. So another quick point to touch on before we wrap up this episode is there are also some business setup check boxes. I've got an episode coming out later on. It won't be during this week where I'm going to dive deep on my business setup, like how much when money comes in each week, how I divvy that up into my tax account, into my investment account, into my paycheck, into my expenses and my operating expenses. I'm going to talk about how I save with my 401k, my solo 401k, all the things that I do business structure and financial wise. All right. I'm going to deep dive on that, but just a few things that will help you transition from hobby to business. One is something like setting up your business as an LLC, make it official. All right. Then go set up banking accounts, savings, checking, solo 401k, whatever. All right. Let's keep it simple. LLC, next checkbox, checking account. All right. Can't pay anybody if you don't have a checking account. Then get like a business credit card. Start racking up some business points that you can use for travel and stuff like that. Like I love travel rewards hacking. We did a recent episode on the show where we talked about flying free as a family. That was pretty cool. But these are, again, check boxes that we check to be serious business people. All right. So we're going to continue this conversation tomorrow, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what I call the podcasting success timeline, where you're at on that. I've revamped it. So this will be a brand new episode on this topic that you've never, ever heard before. Now, this week is the final week of registration for Podcasting Business Bootcamp. If what we talked about today really hit you hard, right square between the eyes, I want you to take a peek at Bootcamp. All right. This is an opportunity to get in my beta group. I will not be doing another bootcamp until 2023. All right. And the price will go way up. This is a great opportunity to start making that shift from having a podcasting hobby into having a true, profitable, ELF, easy, lucrative, fun podcasting business. Pod Pals. Check it out. The website, podcastingbusiness.school. Get that info in front of you. If it makes sense, get signed up, grab your bootcamp roster spot. And with that, my friends, I'm going to sign off until tomorrow. I'm going to wish you health, happiness, and many downloads. See you next time.